Bonsoir, belle femme. Comment diable allez-vous? Je ne sais pas. Qu'est-ce qu'il est rêvé à la démocratie? That's all the French you're going to hear from me, but bonsoir. Ça va tout le monde? Oh my God. Oh my God. I've got other news that I'm wearing. Can I just say thank you to Coach Linda Blade, who got me this amazing top when I shouted. So yeah, isn't it great? Isn't it great? I feel quite. Ooh, I feel like I should do some exercise. Well, nearly. So France. I mean, it happened in America. It happened in Canada. If you listen to Meghan Murphy, if you follow Meghan Murphy, and I think you should because she's pretty ace. She talks about what's happened in Canada. She actually left Canada, her home, because of what happened in Canada, and the sort of the undermining of democracy by Trudeau and Maureen, who sometimes is in the chat as well. Trudeau sort of resigning, stepping down, actually hindered democracy. And then you had Trump, who was persecuted. And I'm just going to say, I don't necessarily care what your interpretation of what's happened to Trump, whether he deserved it or not. It's immaterial. But we are watching democracy kind of crumble before our very eyes. And what's happened to Marine Le Pen doesn't matter whether you agree with her or not. She has the right, she has the democratic right to stand for election. And I think we should all be very, very afraid about what's going on throughout Europe. Like, it's all very well going, oh, Putin. I'm like, he's so anti-democratic because blah, blah, blah. And you probably are right. But we had a coup in Ukraine. We had, like, all throughout EU countries, like, there's some really serious shit going on. And I can honestly say, I am so excited. I'm so delighted and excited for the UK that we stayed out of it. So some of the harm can't be done to us, but we're still a little bit screwed, aren't we? We're still a little bit screwed. So I just want to say, whether you agree with Marine Le Pen or not, whether her politics are your politics, we should be very fearful of a country in which journalists, cartoonists were gunned down in their offices because they drew a picture of the Prophet Muhammad. And France has obviously done some things towards keeping secular as much as possible. But this particular thing of preventing a person, any person, but this woman, it's just really crazy that anybody should be pro cancelling this woman. If you don't want this woman to take power in your country, if you don't want her to take power, then put up policies that are attractive to the electorate so you make sure that woman stays out of power. That's all you should do. That's all anyone should do. If you want to win an argument, win the fucking argument. Don't wipe out your opponents with smears or these kind of mechanisms that they keep using to stop people being able to stand for election. And I'm just going to say, I can honestly say, just for my own peace of mind here, and I may well agree with Marine Le Pen. I don't know. I know she's called things. I don't know what her policies are. I know that Paris is not a city I would want to visit at the moment. It feels far too dangerous, a bit like London, but it feels really, really dangerous. So I know that, but it's just really crazy that in order to defeat an opponent, they criminalize her and stop her standing for election. And somebody made that awful program, the newsagents. Somebody made this sort of comparison between Trump and then him getting elected because they tried to persecute him with the lawfare, and the same with Hitler, and now Marine Le Pen, as if those three people are in some way connected, as if their policies are somehow connected. And it's just really interesting. I wonder what it is that they really don't like about Le Pen. I imagine it's because maybe she's popular. I would imagine, like the rest of Europe, there is a little bit of a fear about loads and loads of people just arriving in the country, not vetted and given access to everything. Like over here, that is what's happening. It's not like everyone woke up one day and was like, you know what, I'm going to be racist. These are the just things that happen, and the left go, oh, you're racist, you're racist, you're racist, you're racist, and then all of a sudden people go, do you know what? I've been too afraid to speak up, but now I just feel like whatever I do, I'm accused of this thing. So actually, I might as well be this thing. So it's absolutely crazy. But we are seeing as a consequence of the policies over the last sort of 20, 30 years, we are seeing a rise of the right of politics. And that's what happens when the left
We must stop dirty language from getting to our children's ears. We must go fight the source of it.
But what is the source?
Oh, that's easy. Times have changed. Our kids are getting worse. They won't obey their parents. They just want to fart and curse.
Should we blame the government or blame society?
Or should we blame the images on TV?
No, blame Canada. Blame Canada. For their beady little eyes and flapping heads upon their lies. Blame Canada. Form a full assault!
It's an assault!
Don't blame me for my son Stan. He saw the darn cartoon and now he's off to join the clan. And my boy Eric once had my picture on his shelf, but now when I see him, he tells me to fuck myself.
Well, blame Canada! Blame Canada! It seems that everything's gone wrong since Canada came along. Blame Canada! Blame Canada!
They're not even a real country anyway.
My son could have been a doctor or a lawyer, rich and true. Instead, he burned up like a piggy on a barbecue.
Should we blame the matches? Should we blame the fire? Or the doctors who allowed it to expire?
Heck no! Blame Canada! Blame Canada! With all the hockey hung on the low.
And that bitch Anne Murray too.
Blame Canada! Shame on Canada! Oh, in the smoke we must cut the trash, we must dash the left to refund the smoky and done. We must prevent the cause of fuss before somebody thinks of blaming us.
So you remember, right? You remember just a year ago, I was invited to be the keynote speaker after Liz Truss, but the keynote speaker at CPAC. And it was going to be great. And I was going to go all the way to Australia, and Australia, and it was going to be wonderful. And I was going to go and redo Melbourne, blah, blah, blah. And what Australia did, the Australian visa idiots, what they did is they just kept delaying and extending. And first of all, they declined. And then I did another application that cost me about like 300. And they just kept delaying, deferring, asking for more information, delaying, deferring, all of this and event. And I applied in good time. And then the event went, and I think about a week after the event, they were like, no, you can't come. You can't come to Australia. You're not welcome. So I applied for a visa to go to Canada because Canada is screwed. Canada is screwed. You now got Pierre Poilievre, whatever his name is. You now got Pierre, the bloke, the guy who eats an apple because he's so cool while he answers the question. He's so cool. He's now doing this thing of like, I'm going to do a pissing contest with Trump. But for women, I've recently spoke to a woman whose child was removed from a nursery. I know we had that story here today, but this is before. And Canadian women, they lost their Vancouver rape crisis. Meghan Murphy won't even live there anymore. It's terrible. They had Bill C-16. That was back in 2016, I think, maybe 2017. Could have even been 2015. But that's when Meghan Murphy spoke, Jordan Peterson and Gad Saad, they all spoke out against what it would mean for free speech in Canada. And it was all to do with misgendering. And it's Poilievre. Polyev. Thank you. Polyev. Pierre Polyev. Anyway, so there's some women that really want to do a Let Women Speak, and they really want to make a difference in Canada. It's a very big place. It's really fucking difficult for women to get together in Canada. It's just a little bit mad. And women can't speak in their workplace. They've lost all their rights. You've got Billy Big Balls, Dave Yaniv, who took some women, some poor women who were, I think they have a special name, but let's call them waxers, people that wax pubic hair off people's bodies. And he wanted them to wax his balls. So Canada is really terrible. And I think it's made super worse by the fact that Canadians think they're really nice people. They're all so nice. They're all so nice and so friendly and so wonderful and so accepting that they kind of mistakenly believe, and this has happened everywhere. This is what happens. The Canadians have mistakenly believed that the plain kind of the politeness that they operate on is the same as the trans activists. So if the trans activists are saying that they are genuinely oppressed and they genuinely have gender dysphoria, the Canadians are like, well, that's probably true. You are. And so I might play another clip of South Park in a minute. And so I have applied for my Canadian ETA. Like, as a British person, that's what you apply for, the Canadian ETA. So I applied. I got a receipt for my application. Then a couple of days later, I got a, we are looking at your application. And a couple of days later, I got a, we might need some more information for your application. Please log in. Now, this is what happened with me in Australia, that they wanted more information.
Follow me this
Guess
way.
what happened next?
We're going to see the Prime Minister of Canada.
Power-hungry Americans, I'll fix you. Ah, Jesus, 18 hours. We're running out of time.
All right, boys, prepare yourselves. We're about to enter French Canada.
French Canada?
There's no Canada like French Canada. It's the best Canada in the land. The other Canada is hardly Canada. If you lived here for a day, you'd understand.
Ho ho ho! Welcome to French Canada! We have everything a heart could desire. Trapezes, trampolines, and lots of cheese.
Would you like a mustache?
Just stay calm, boys. French Canadians are a little odd.
We're just passing through to see the new Prime Minister.
Well, first you must answer that phone.
Ring, 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 ring.
We don't have time for this.
You cannot pass through French Canada unless you take that phone call.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hello?
Hello? If you are going to see the new Prime Minister, then I want to go with you. He has passed a new law forbidding us French Canadians to drink wine.
How can the French not drink wine? Travesty!
Okay, you can come with us.
Oh, very good. Let us make haste.
There's no Canada like French Canada. It's the best Canada in the land. And the other Canada is a bullshit Canada. If you lived here for a day, you'd understand.
I think you'd understand. You understand.
Anyway, aren't they lovely? Aren't they lovely, the French Canadians and all of the Canadians? So many Canadians. So I log on. I have to do all this authenticating thing. In fact, there are so many security questions. And for me to set up so many security questions to actually find out whether or not what information, whatever it is that they need me to do, it takes like 30 minutes. I've got to do double authentication. I've got to set up an authentication app on my phone. I've got to scan a QR code. And then I've got to be like, who was your first dog's girlfriend? What was the first book that you read at school that somebody else didn't like? What was the first film you viewed on a Thursday after your 8th birthday? It was all that sort of stuff. And then what happened? And then they said, oh, we can't find any application. You haven't applied for an ETA. So I apply again. And they do it again. And so I'm thinking, oh, okay. So Canada is not going to give me an ETA, like an electronic travel arsehole. I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to get one. And so I'm going to have to hire some sort of immigration lawyer because they won't say no. This is what Australia did. They don't want to say no, but they aren't going to say yes. So they won't say, no, we refuse entry, because then that's something I can argue against. So what they do is they just go round and around and around, like until you go insane. And let me just say, quite at this moment, I'm already dealing with some absolute lunatic in my, well, not in my life anymore, but I'm already dealing with like a really nasty, malevolent lunatic. And now I've got to deal with this. So I'm just going to remind you again, because I think sometimes people think, well, you know, you have no smoke without fire. You have done something. So I'm just going to remind you all what I've done. I've decided that I'm going to speak out about men and women only spaces. That I'm going to speak out about the erasure of the language used to describe women. And that's it. Like, that's kind of it. I don't want to mutilate kids. I don't want women to lose their rights. That pretty much is it. I don't want.
I use public toilets and I piss on the seat.
I don't want that. That's all. That's it. I want to encourage women to use their own voice. I don't want women necessarily to listen to me, although I'm happy that you do. I want to tell every woman that whatever the bloody hell she wants to say, she should be able to say. So let me do this. I'm asking, I'm begging, actually. I'm going to, let's just go whole hog on the begging. I am begging you, please, will you help me? Please, will you help me? Help the women in Canada. I don't know how much a lawyer costs. Let's say it costs £1,000 just for an initial consultation with a proper immigration lawyer. Because it can't be right. I've not broken any laws. In fact, I did think I broke the law the other day because they couldn't find my insurance documents, and I got 6 points. And then they had to cancel it because I did have insurance on my car. I haven't broken any law. I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't targeted people. I haven't incited violence. I've literally sold some stickers and sold some T-shirts so that I can create a space in which women can come out and speak. Now, it might be that a few years ago, I would have had the opportunity to go out and actually get a job, but that didn't happen. And so my family definitely have lost the income that I might have got had I got a job. But I was very, very happy staying at home with my children. Although the youngest is 16 now, so I think I've run out of excuses. But if you could donate to Let Women Speak, so I can just put my feet in that country so that women can come out. Because something like, if I go to Canada, and I'm going to sound really immodest, so I'm just going to say it. If I go to Canada, I know, because it's happened to me before where I go to other countries. When I go to Spain, women travel from all over Spain and Portugal and surrounding areas, the same as when I went to Austria, same as when I went to Switzerland, same as when I went to Australia and New Zealand. Like, Canada has not. Megan Murphy's from Canada, and she's amazing. But Canada hasn't had, and Megan's been really targeted. So Megan's quite fearful about speaking out in the open. I want to do the out in the open thing. I want to do the thing where any woman can come and speak. And I know there's been other activism, but my activism is not attached to anything else besides women. Every woman, no matter what age, no matter what class, no matter what race, no matter what religion, no matter what nationality, it's for all women. We are a global constituency, all of our own. And so what Let Women Speak does is something really, really fantastic and unique. And I genuinely think like we did in the United States. Like when I first went to the US, it really gave the US a kick up the arse. And I do feel that the women in Canada are just crying out for just something. Like they're doing all the work in the world, but it's not penetrating. It's not getting stuff moving. It's just not. And that's not because they're not amazing. But I have created sort of a global something that's tangible that women know that they can come to and they'll be welcome and they can speak. And I want to go in September and I want to do something in Canada, but I can't do it if I can't get there. God, it's just so crazy. It's just so crazy. But the power of Let Women Speak is just amazing. We get women, and I say this all the time, but I am going to say it again. Women come who have no intention of speaking, but just want to stand next to someone else. They want to stand next to someone who can say, yeah, women don't have penises. And they can hear those words and they can say those words. It's crazy. Oh, someone Turf Bab says, I will need a passport. I'm aware I need a passport, but an ETA enables a British person to enter Canada with their passport. It's attached. It's like a visa. So yes. But we wish it was global. We have sisters who are never heard. Yeah, that's someone just said, can I just say, JS? This is what Let Women Speak does. Like, that's what I do. That's exactly what Let Women Speak does. It enables every woman to be heard, but they can't be heard if I don't get in front of them. And those things cost money. And there isn't that much money. And everything I do is by selling you a pen, by the way, suffragette pen set. So nice. This particular pen, this white pen says, rather be a rebel than a slave. Can I just say I don't promote men, certainly not men with a history of being misogynist and disgusting towards women. Meghan Murphy is the only Canadian for me, to be quite honest, the only one worth remotely considering when it comes to sort of global platforms or very, very well known. She's she's the only Canadian I'd work with who has like an extensive platform. Apart from Jordan Peterson, obviously, and I've been on the show, and Gad Sad, I think, lives in Canada. Okay, so she's running in she's running in East Vancouver in the next federal election for the PCC. Oh, I love Meghan so much. The only party in Canada that knows what a woman is for the PPC. Oh, Meghan, you are amazing. Anyway, I want to go to Canada. I can't do it unless I make them allow me to enter. It's in those countries, you literally, in all the like in Australia and in Canada, you literally have people marching for terrorists. And they won't be citizens. And yet I'm not allowed in. It's mad. But it's the same as Marine Le Pen not being able to stand for election in France. So if you can help me get to Canada, go and buy yourself something nice. Then I promise we will win. If you can keep speaking even when you have lunatics trying to drown you, then I promise we will win. And do you know what else we're going to win? Well, because I never lose.
resplendent, so confident. Listen, listen, listen. I realize I'm hypnotized. Listen, listen, listen. I hear the moon singing a tune. Listen, listen, listen. Is she divine? Is it the wine?